Ladies and gentlemen, I am Hiral Dadia. Clearly, if you go to see Rupee is something which is in focus over the last couple of trading sessions. In fact, since the time the pandemic has started, because the kind of pressures that we are seeing on emerging market currencies, Rupee happens to be one of them. In fact, let's understand, what is the kind of reaction that we are seeing lately from Riya Singh, technical research analyst currencies at Nirmal Bank. Riya, good morning and welcome to the show. My first question coming to you is with regards to where the rupee goes, is especially in terms of where the measures that have been unveiled by the RBI to help the economy tide over the current crisis. Now, if you have to look at everything, the kind of liquidity support measures that the RBI has come up with, do you think the rupee has reacted as much as it should have, or were the measures already priced in?
Yeah, good morning, Hiran. So, the meeting that was held by the RBI, which they went ahead with a reverse repo rate cut rather than the repo rate. So, I don't think so. This was already factored in. Obviously, when it was announced that the RBI will be, keeping a press conference. So we were expecting like, okay, there will be again a rate cut that will happen, taking into consideration, uh, the IMF outlook that was released. But yes, they have announced quite a bit of liquidity for the market. They had announced 50,000 crores to begin with in the TLTRO in tranches. So yes, so RBI is right now trying to provide as much as liquidity that will be required for the market to stabilize or to help them, not go into much deep recession. But yes, the movement that we saw on basis of this was not quite as much that was expected for the rupee. Rupee did appreciate, it did went towards the 76, 55, 76 levels, but yes, it was not as much as it was expected.
Right. So, taking these cues into consideration as well, Ria, overall, if you go to see now, the USD is also continuously seen on the bid side. Now, if you have to take that into consideration with what happened to the US dollar index as well, in fact, we already saw it jump beyond that 100 mark on Friday's session. What does that actually mean for the rupee?
So, see, dollar index strengthening indicates that there will be a depreciation that will be coming for. Now, as far as the global scenarios goes, the economic outlook and everything still remains quite muted. And to top it off, dollar gaining strength is not helping much for the rupee. So accordingly, I think the rupee will depreciate much. For today's, you can definitely, remain by on the dips that we are continuously recommending from past few sessions.
Okay. And overall, what are the NDF spreads actually looking like, and what do they actually suggest?
See, the NDF spread, pales the overall confidence in the currencies. So if it tightens or contracts, that will be a good sign. But as long as we are seeing there's not much of contracting happening in the spread, which is a negative sign for the rupee. So this indicates that though the central bank is working quite much towards, you know, uh, towards infusing liquidity, they are not much successful in curbing the depreciation in the rupee because it still remains even today above 376 levels. So the NDF spread, if it widens more, there will be much, uh, uh, depreciation that can be expected in the rupee.
Okay. And overall, what's the sense are you getting, Ria? Because it seems that we are still not out of the woods with respect to the pandemic globally. And if you see emerging market currencies like the rupee, there is a possibility that we may not really find buyers, at least in the short term. So do you think there is a possibility of another 3 to 4% depreciation, for the rupee, which may not be ruled out at least in the short to medium term?
Yes, sure, that can happen because even on the global front, if you see, there are lots of the entire central banks are currently, concentrated on infusing the liquidity to not let the market suffer much. Even as we speak of in Germany, the central bank had introduced 3 billion euros into the market for the insurance company. So all around the world, the central bankers are trying to infuse liquidity to in order to revive the market. But obviously, when such pandemic happens, the developing countries are the first to suffer because the outflows starts from there. So yes, taking into the overall scenario as to how the pandemic is panning out, yes, much depreciation can be expected into the rupee, at least till 77, 77.56.
Okay. And taking the current market scenario into consideration, what would the strategies be that you would suggest?
So today, I think for the intraday, rupee remains quite muted. I think it will stay sideways. So one needs to look out for the band breakout within 77, 76.65 for a buy, or if it gives a breakdown of 76.35 for a sell. So one must look out for that. Band to take any position in the rupee. JPY can be a sell, and pound can be a buy for today's session.
Right. All right, Riya. Pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for sharing the strategies with us as well. And we will come back to you to get more updates with how the currency markets are panning out. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, for more updates, you could subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook.